Good afternoon. We're going to do a little different version of the vlog today, and that is a topical one. And today we're going to be talking about Down syndrome. So Chris posted a video on his Facebook. I don't know if he posted it to the Bennetts Facebook, but it was of a dad who was in a store looking at a movie, looking to like rent or buy a movie or something. And then there was another dad with his two sons, and one of the sons was looking at a movie and it had a Down syndrome kid in it, and he asked his dad what Down syndrome was, and the dad explained that Down syndrome was illness, and it was an illness of not knowing things. That's what the dad said. So, and the other dad that overheard, he has a kid with Down syndrome, and then the video is of him like sitting in his car sharing what just happened and then how he was feeling. And he said that he was disappointed in himself because he felt like he failed his son with Down syndrome because he didn't say something to the other dad and explain that it's not an illness, you know, it's not something that you take medicine for or something that like you catch or something. And basically it's not a disability, like they're just as capable as everybody else. And that it actually brings him a lot of joy and happiness, and that, you know, his son is a great teacher, or Down syndrome people in general, he said, are great teachers and very family oriented and cuddly and all this other stuff he explained. So that's what we're gonna talk about today. Basically, we kind of were wondering, we talked about it, like what would we do in that situation if we were the person who overheard. I was kind of putting myself more in the dad's shoes who had a son with Down syndrome. Like, what would I have done in his situation? Would I have said something? And Chris kind of put himself in the situation of the dad who was trying to explain Down syndrome to his kids. I'll let Chris say what he thought, which he should be coming here any second. My side was like, I don't know, and if I maybe would have done the same thing the dad would have, like maybe I wouldn't have said anything, then I would have been upset with myself for not saying anything. But I feel like if you do have a kid with Down syndrome, you have probably like learned how to explain it to people who don't know a lot about it. So I would hope in that situation that I kind of already have the words formed as into what I, you know, like say to people who ask, you know, like what's Down syndrome or what's wrong with your kid or something. Like you already have something to say. So maybe if I would have overheard him, I just would have been like, hey, my son actually has Down syndrome, so I can kind of tell you a little bit about it or explain what it is, that it's not an illness, you know? So I think that's kind of the way that I would have handled the situation, or I hope I would have handled the situation, you know, like luckily, not luckily. See, that's bad already. But like, that's not our situation, so I don't know how I would handle it, but I'll let Chris share his side of what he would say. So I just said that I kind of put myself in the role of the person who, like, I was thinking, what would I do if that was me, if my son had Down syndrome, and I overheard that, and I said that you kind of put yourself in the role of, like, if Bodhi was asking those questions, like, how would I explain it? So you can go ahead and explain. Well, I go clean dog pee.
The kid's down here, by the way, in case he's taller than me. I watched the video and it made us like really think about what I would have done if I was the dad explaining to the kid what Down syndrome is, not the parent with Down syndrome, because I don't know. Bodhi doesn't have Down syndrome, so I don't really know anything about it, if I'm honest. I don't know if it's bad or good, or it's obviously bad, but if Bodhi had grown up, as he gets older and he realizes different things to different people, if he'd asked me, yes? If he'd had asked me what Down syndrome is, yes, Bodhi, what's up? You want me to play with you?
There was just a spider on my arm.
That's not good.
A big one.
There's a lot going on right now, hang on. If Bodhi had been the kid that had asked, Casey's with him now. If Bodhi had been the kid to ask me what Down syndrome is, I know now that I wouldn't have described it correctly. I would have said something along the lines of, it's just a normal person, but they're slow. I don't even know if slow is a bad word to use, but that's the word that I know I would have used, like slow as in mentally. And that's obviously incorrect, but I wouldn't have known any other better way. I just don't know. I know I wouldn't have done it right. I wouldn't have done it justice. And after watching this dad and his emotional response to it and the way that he described it, it's a much better way. And it'll hopefully help me going forward if Bodhi ever asks me any certain questions about that topic now. I feel more educated through it, and I feel a lot more. I feel bad about the way that I would have described things, but then I didn't know any better. Now I do. So hopefully moving forward, when he asks me what's Down syndrome, Dad, I'll be able to describe him. There's no They're just a normal person that react to things differently. They're genuine. They're lovely. They're good teachers. They're good learners. They're loving. They're lovable. They're cuddly. All these things that this guy described it as. It's just a great way for it to be described. Leave your thoughts below. If you've seen this video, let us know. All right. If you want to, you don't have to. But if you have personal dealings with people within your family that have Down syndrome, or maybe you do and you watch these vlogs, if you don't want to leave it in the comments, message us on Twitter privately. I'd love to learn more. All right, thank you. See you later.